The alarm rang through Earth's Defense Center at exactly 3:47 a.m. Admiral Tae-min Kim woke up in his small apartment and grabbed his phone. The message was short but terrible. Unknown ships detected at solar system edge. Massive fleet. Not human. Tae-min ran to the command center. The main screen showed hundreds of red dots moving toward Earth. Each dot was bigger than any ship humans had ever built. The fleet stretched across space like a wall of metal and death. How many? Tae-min asked. Over 3,000 ships, sir, Captain Dongwoo Choi said. His voice shook a little. The biggest ones are 50 kilometers long. President So-jin Lee arrived 20 minutes later. She looked at the screen and went very quiet. Everyone in the room could feel the fear in the air. Humanity had always wondered if aliens existed. Now they had their answer, and it was terrifying. The alien fleet stopped just outside Pluto's orbit. They sent a message. The voice that came through the speakers was cold and strange. It spoke perfect English, but the words felt wrong somehow. I am Ambassador Vexthar of the Kethrai Empire. We have come to collect tribute from your species. You will submit to our rule. This is not a choice. The message continued. You will give us 60% of your resources. You will give us 60% of your technology. You will give us 60% of your population to work for us. You have 30 of your days to prepare. If you refuse, we will destroy your world and take everything anyway. The transmission ended. The room stayed silent for a long time. Can we fight them? President Lee asked. General In-ho Shin shook his head. Our biggest warship has 50 crew members. Their smallest ship could probably destroy our entire fleet. Dr. Hanul Park had been quiet during the meeting. She was a small woman who worked on strange physics projects that most people didn't understand. Now she spoke up. There might be another way, she said. Everyone looked at her. Admiral Tae-min knew Dr. Park was very smart, but she often talked about impossible things. What do you mean? The president asked. We don't have to fight them, Dr. Park said, and we don't have to surrender either. Then what? Admiral Tae-min asked. Dr. Park took a deep breath. We leave. Captain Dongwoo laughed, but it wasn't a happy laugh. Leave? Where would we go? They control the whole galaxy. Not the whole galaxy, Dr. Park said. Just this part of it. What if we could move somewhere they've never been? How? President Lee asked. Our fastest ships would take thousands of years to reach another star. Dr. Park walked to the big screen. She touched it and brought up a diagram that looked like folded paper. For 5 years, my team has been working on something called quantum folding. We think we can bend space itself. Instead of traveling through space, we fold it. We bring our destination to us. Admiral Tae-min stared at the diagram. You're talking about moving a spaceship? No, Dr. Park said. I'm talking about moving everything. The Earth, the Moon, Mars, Jupiter, the Sun, our entire solar system. The room went completely silent. General Shin looked like he had stopped breathing. That's impossible, he finally said. Maybe, Dr. Park said. But so was flying once. So was going to space. So was everything humans have ever done that other species thought was crazy. President Lee sat down heavily in her chair. How long would this take? If we started today and worked every minute without stopping? 29 days. Captain Dongwoo checked his watch. The aliens gave us 30 days. I know, Dr. Park said. The next few hours were chaos. Scientists were called in from all over Earth. Engineers came from Mars and the asteroid mines. Everyone wanted to know the same thing. Could it really work? Dr. Park's team showed their research. They had been testing small versions of the quantum fold technology. They had moved rocks, then asteroids, then small moons. The math said it was possible to scale up, but the power needed would be enormous. We would have to turn Jupiter into a giant engine, Dr. Park explained. We would have to use the sun's energy to power the fold, and we would have to coordinate the entire solar system at the same time. What if it fails? Admiral Tae-min asked. Dr. Park didn't answer right away. Finally, she said, Then we die. But we die free. Meanwhile, Captain Dongwu took his fastest ship to spy on the alien fleet. What he found made everyone more afraid. The aliens weren't just sitting there waiting. They were building something. Huge machines that looked like they were designed to strip planets apart. They've done this before, Captain Dongwu reported when he got back. I saw data streams from their ships. They've enslaved over 2,000 species. Some of them tried to fight. Some of them tried to hide. Some of them tried to run. None of them succeeded. Dr. Mi Young Kang, who studied alien biology, had been analyzing the transmissions. She had bad news too. These Kethri don't just want our resources, she said. They feed on something else. Fear, maybe. Despair. They enjoy making other species submit. It makes them stronger. President Lee called for a vote. The world's leaders met virtually. The choice was simple, but terrible. Submit to slavery, fight and die, or try something that had never been done before. The vote was close, but the decision was made. Humanity would try to fold space and escape. President Lee spoke to the world that night. Billions of people watched as she stood behind her podium. My fellow humans, she said. Today we learned we are not alone in the universe. We also learned that freedom is not free anywhere, not even among the stars. We have been given a choice between slavery and death. But humans have always been good at finding a third option. She paused and looked directly into the camera. We are not going to submit. We are not going to fight a war we cannot win. We are going to do what humans do best. We are going to do something impossible. The broadcast ended. Around the world, people looked up at the night sky. Soon that sky might be completely different. If they were lucky, they would live to see it. If Dr. Park was wrong, none of them would live to see anything at all. The countdown began. 29 days to move a solar system. 29 days to save the human race. Admiral Taemin looked at the alien fleet on his screen. You want tribute? He whispered. Here's your tribute. Try to collect it from empty space. Dr. Hanul Park had not slept in 3 days. Her eyes were red and her hands shook as she drank her 10th cup of coffee. Around her, the biggest room in the science center was full of people working at computers, drawing on whiteboards and arguing about math. Show me the Jupiter calculations again, she said to engineer Bo-Ram Yang. Bo-Ram pulled up a hologram of Jupiter. The giant planets spun slowly in the air between them. Red lines marked where they would place the quantum engines. We need to drill. Down to the metallic hydrogen layer, Bo-Ram said. That's where we'll build the main fold generator, but the pressure down there could crush our equipment. The equipment will work, Dr. Park said. It has to work. Commander Hyunwoo Nam looked up from his tablet. He was in charge of moving people and supplies around the solar system. His job was almost as impossible as Dr. Park's. We have another problem, he said. Moving this many people and machines without the aliens noticing. They're watching everything we do. Admiral Taemin walked into the room. He looked tired too. Everyone looked tired. What's our cover story? He asked. Dr. Park smiled for the first time in days. We're going to pretend to surrender. We're going to make the aliens think we're building tribute collection centers. She walked to the main display and changed the view. Now it showed Earth's surface covered with construction sites. Every quantum fold generator will look like a warehouse or factory. Every power station will look like a mining operation. Every evacuation center will look like a prison camp. Will they believe it? Admiral Taemin asked. They've seen this before, Dr. Mi Young Kang said. She had been studying recordings of the alien communications. 2,000 species have surrendered to them. They expect us to build the infrastructure to hand ourselves over. Captain Dongwu came in carrying a data pad. His face was grim. I've got more intelligence from their fleet, he said. The good news is they're not paying much attention to our activities yet. The bad news is I know what happened to the other species. He activated his tablet and showed them images. Worlds stripped bare. Populations working in massive industrial complexes. Entire species that had been turned into slaves. The Kethri don't just take resources, Captain Dongwu said. They take hope. They make species work to destroy their own worlds. It feeds them somehow. Dr. Young Soo Han looked up from his calculations. He was working on the most dangerous part of the plan. The quantum field stabilizers are ready for testing, he said, but we need to talk about the moon. Everyone went quiet. They all knew what he meant. The moon has to go, Dr. Park said quietly. We need its mass to anchor the fold. Without it, Earth's quantum signature won't be stable enough. You're talking about destroying the moon, Admiral Taman said. Not destroying it, converting it. The moon will become pure energy to power the fold. But yes, it will be gone forever. President So-Jin Lee had been listening from the back of the room. She stepped forward. How do we tell people that we're going to sacrifice the moon to save humanity? We don't, Dr. Park said. Not yet. If word gets out, panic could ruin everything. Chief, Engineer Seok-Jin Lim raised his hand. He was in charge of the actual construction. We have another problem. The scale of this project is massive. We're building full generators on every planet, every major asteroid, every space station. We need millions of tons of materials and millions of workers. How many people know what we're really building? President Lee asked. Right now? Maybe 50, Commander Nam said. Everyone else thinks they're building surrender facilities. Keep it that way, Admiral Taemin said. The fewer people who know, the better. Dr. Park showed them the timeline. It looked impossible. Day 1 through 5. Install the main generators on Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune. Day 6 through 10. Place quantum beacons on all major bodies in the solar system. Day 11 through 20. Build the power network connecting everything. Day 21 through 25. Test the system. Day 26 through 29. Final preparations. Day 30. Execute the fold. What if something goes wrong? Engineer Yang asked. Then we're all dead, Dr. Park said simply. But if we do nothing, we're all slaves. I'd rather be dead. The work began immediately. Ships launched from Earth carrying equipment to every planet in the solar system. To anyone watching, it looked like humanity was preparing to strip mine their own worlds for alien tribute. On Jupiter, massive drilling rigs began boring down toward the planet's core. The official story was that they were extracting rare metals for the Kethrai. The real purpose was to place quantum fold generators in the metallic hydrogen layer. On Mars, huge construction robots built what looked like processing facilities. Actually, they were evacuation centers where colonists would wait during the fold operation. In the asteroid belt, mining ships worked around the clock. They appeared to be gathering raw materials for tribute. Really, they were placing quantum beacons that would help coordinate the fold. Captain Dongwu made regular spy runs to the alien fleet. Each time he brought back more disturbing information. They're getting impatient, he reported after his latest mission. I intercepted communications between their ships. They're surprised we're being so cooperative. Most species try to negotiate or stall for time. That's good, Dr. Park said. They expect resistance. Our compliance makes them less suspicious. But their luck didn't last forever. On day 15, Ambassador Vexthar sent another message to Earth. Your preparations proceed well, the alien voice said. However, we have detected unusual energy patterns from your industrial sites. We will be sending inspection teams to examine your work. The room went dead silent. How long do we have? President Lee asked. Captain Dongwu checked his instruments. Their inspection ships launched an hour ago. They'll reach Earth in 6 days. Dr. Park started calculating frantically. We need at least 10 more days to finish the core installations. Then we stall them, Admiral Taemin said. How? Commander Nam asked. Dr. Park looked up from her calculations. Her eyes were bright with a dangerous idea. We give them what they want to see. We build fake facilities. We stage surrender ceremonies. We make them think we're broken and defeated. Can we do that convincingly? President Lee asked. Dr. Mi Young Kang nodded. I've studied their psychology. They want to see despair. They want to see humans giving up hope. We can fake that. Engineer Yang was already working on new plans. We can build shell structures in 48 hours. From orbit, they'll look like real facilities. Do it, Admiral Taemin ordered. Whatever it takes. As the meeting broke up, Dr. Park stayed behind with her closest assistants. The quantum fold generators were working, but barely. The power requirements were enormous, and they were running out of time. Can we really do this? Doctor, Han asked quietly. Dr. Park looked out the window at Earth's blue sky. Soon, that sky might look completely different. They might be looking up at alien stars. I don't know, she said honestly, but I know what happens if we don't try. Outside, construction continued around the clock. Humanity was building the most ambitious project in their history, disguised as their own surrender. In 6 days, alien inspectors would arrive. In 15 days, they would attempt something that had never been tried before. Dr. Park went back to her calculations. There had to be a way to make it work. There was always a way. Humans were good at impossible things. The alien inspection ship was black as space and shaped like a knife. It descended through Earth's atmosphere while millions of humans watched from their homes. Admiral Taemin stood on the landing platform, wearing his dress uniform and trying to look defeated. Ambassador Vexthar emerged from the ship first. The alien was tall and thin with gray skin and too many joints in its arms and legs. Its eyes were completely black and seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Behind Vexthar came Ambassador Naleth. This one was shorter but moved like a predator. Where Vexthar seemed bored by the inspection, Naleth looked at everything with suspicious interest. "Welcome to Earth," Admiral Taemin said, bowing slightly. The bow made him feel sick, but it was part of the act. "Show us your tribute preparation facilities," Vexthar said without any greeting. The first stop was what appeared to be a massive processing center outside Tokyo. Thousands of humans worked at stations, sorting materials into containers marked with alien symbols. The workers moved slowly and kept their heads down. Many of them were crying. It was all fake. The workers were volunteers who had practiced looking hopeless and defeated. The materials were mostly rocks and scrap metal with computer displays that showed false data. The entire facility had been built in 4 days. Efficient, Vexthar said, sounding pleased. Naleth walked closer to one of the workstations. The human there, a woman named Jiwon Kim, continued sorting rocks while tears ran down her face. She had been practicing this act for days. "You," Naleth said to her. "What are you processing?" Jiwon looked up with perfect despair in her eyes. "Rare metals for your ships, master. Everything valuable we have found." Naleth studied her for a long moment, then moved on. Admiral Taemin let out a quiet breath. The tour continued. They visited population processing centers, where humans were supposedly being prepared for slave labor. They saw resource extraction facilities, where Earth's wealth was being gathered for alien use. They examined technology transfer stations where human scientists appeared to be handing over their research. Every facility was fake. Every crying human was an actor. Every piece of equipment was a shell covering quantum fold technology. "Your species adapts quickly to submission," Vexthar commented as they flew between sites. "Most take longer to accept their fate." "We are a practical species," Admiral Taemin lied. "We understand when we are defeated." But Naleth was not convinced. As they visited the lunar mining operation, the suspicious alien paid attention to details that worried Admiral Taemin. "These power readings are unusual," Naleth said, studying a display that showed energy consumption for the fake mining equipment. Chief Engineer Seok Jin Lim, who was guiding this part of the tour, had prepared for this question. "Human equipment is inefficient compared to your technology, Honored One. We require much power to accomplish simple tasks." Naleth's black eyes fixed on him. "Show me the power source." This was the moment they had feared. The mining operation was actually the most important quantum fold generator in the entire system. It would convert the moon's mass into the energy needed to anchor Earth during the fold. Engineer Lim led them to what appeared to be a fusion reactor. In reality, it was a fake shell surrounding the quantum conversion chamber, but the energy readings coming from it were real. "This reactor seems too powerful for simple mining," Naleth observed. "We are processing the entire moon," Admiral Taemin said. "It requires significant energy." "The entire moon?" Vexthar asked with interest. "Yes, Honored Ones. We thought it would make suitable tribute. all the rare metals in the moon's core, refined and ready for your use. This was partially true. They were going to convert the moon, but not into tribute. They were going to convert it into quantum energy. Naleth walked around the fake reactor, studying it from every angle. Dr. Young-Soo Han, who had designed the camouflage, held his breath and waited. Acceptable, Naleth finally said. The inspection continued for 3 days. The aliens examined facilities on Mars, the asteroid mining stations, and the industrial complexes on Europa. Everywhere they went, they saw the same thing: humans working desperately to prepare tribute for their new masters. They didn't see the quantum beacons hidden in every major structure. They didn't notice the power conduits that connected every planet to the main fold generators. They didn't realize that the communication satellites were actually quantum field coordinators. On the final day of the inspection, the aliens requested a demonstration of human submission. Admiral Tae-min had prepared for this too. 10,000 humans gathered in a stadium in Seoul. They came from all walks of life: scientists, engineers, teachers, children, elderly people. All of them had volunteered to participate in the most important performance in human history. As the alien ambassadors watched from their platform, the humans knelt and bowed their heads. A few sobbed loudly. Others trembled with apparent fear. Children clung to their parents and cried. President So-Jin Lee stepped forward. She looked broken and defeated as she approached the aliens. "Great ones," she said, her voice shaking. "We offer ourselves to your wisdom. We know we are weak and inferior. We beg for your mercy." She knelt and pressed her face to the ground. The 10,000 humans in the stadium did the same. The sound of so many people kneeling at once echoed through the air. Vexthar seemed pleased. "Your species shows proper understanding of its place." But Naleth was still watching everything with suspicious eyes. As the demonstration ended and the humans filed out of the stadium, Naleth spoke quietly to Admiral Tae-min. "Your people surrender very completely for a species that reached the stars." Admiral Tae-min's heart nearly stopped, but he kept his voice steady. "We are practical, honored one. We know when resistance is pointless." "Indeed," Naleth said. "Still, I will leave monitoring equipment in your system to ensure continued compliance." That night, as the alien inspection ship departed, Admiral Tae-min met with Dr. Park and the other leaders. "How much did they see?" Dr. Park asked. "Too much," Admiral Tae-min said. "Naleth is suspicious. They're leaving spy satellites throughout the system." Captain Dongwoo had been monitoring alien communications during the visit. "I intercepted some of their reports back to the fleet. They believe our surrender is real, but they're going to watch us closely." Dr. Park checked her timeline. "We have 11 days left. Can we finish the installations without them noticing?" Engineer Lim nodded. "The main generators are in place. We just need to complete the power network and run final tests." "What about the quantum beacons?" Commander Nam asked. Dr. Han smiled grimly. "Already installed." The aliens walked right past them without knowing what they were looking at. President Lee had been quiet during the meeting. Now she spoke up. "The performance today. Those people were incredible. 10,000 humans pretending to surrender while actually preparing for the greatest escape in history. They were heroes," Admiral Tae-min agreed. "Every single one of them." Dr. Park brought up the final schedule on her display. "Phase 3 begins tomorrow. We start connecting all the fold generators and power systems. This is when the energy signatures become impossible to hide." "The aliens will notice?" or Captain Dongwoo asked. "Probably, which means we have to work fast. Very fast." That night, as humans across the solar system went to sleep, construction crews began the final phase of the most ambitious project in human history. In hidden chambers beneath fake tribute facilities, quantum fold generators hummed with increasing power. On Jupiter, massive engines deep in the planet's metallic hydrogen core began their startup sequence. On the Moon, conversion chambers prepared to transform solid matter into pure energy. Throughout the asteroid belt, quantum beacons established connections with each other and with Earth. Ambassador Naleth's spy satellites recorded it all. but they were designed to detect weapons and military activity. They were not designed to recognize technology that no species had ever built before. In 11 days, the HFY would expect to begin collecting their tribute from humanity. Instead, they would find empty space where a solar system used to be. The deception was holding, but barely. Dr. Park checked her calculations one more time. The math said it would work. The math had better be right. The HFY battle fleet moved into Earth's solar system like a swarm of metal insects. 3,000 ships spread out between the planets, taking positions to begin harvesting. Admiral Taemin watched them from Earth's command center and felt his stomach turn. "They're not wasting any time," Captain Dongwu reported. "Harvest ships are moving toward the asteroid belt. Troop transports are heading for Mars." Dr. Hanul Park looked up from her control station. "How long until they reach the outer planets?" 6 hours for the fastest ships," Captain Dongwu said. "Then we go now," Dr. Park said. President Sojin Lee stood in the center of the command room. Around her, hundreds of technicians worked at stations connected to every part of the solar system. This room would coordinate the most impossible escape in galactic history. "All stations, this is Operation Exodus," President Lee announced. "Begin final preparations." Across the solar system, humans received the signal they had been waiting for. On Mars, colonists hurried into reinforced shelters. On Europa, miners sealed themselves into emergency bunkers. In the asteroid belt, workers retreated to the safety of their quantum-shielded stations. Dr. Park's hands moved across her controls like a pianist playing a complex song. Each button connected to quantum fold generators hidden throughout the solar system. "Jupiter generator online," she reported. "Saturn generator online. Neptune generator online." Deep inside Jupiter, machinery the size of cities hummed with power, drawn from the planet's metallic hydrogen core. Similar generators hidden in Saturn and Neptune began their own startup sequences. "Quantum beacon network active," Dr. Young-Soo Han reported from his station. "All major bodies are connected. Throughout the solar system, invisible beams of quantum energy linked every planet, moon, and asteroid to the main fold generators. The beacons had been disguised as communication equipment, and the aliens had ignored them completely. "Beginning moon conversion sequence," Chief Engineer Seok Jin Lim announced. This was the part everyone had dreaded. The moon, Earth's companion for billions of years, would be sacrificed to power the fold. There was no other way. On the moon's surface, conversion chambers that had been disguised as mining equipment began their terrible work. Solid matter transformed into pure quantum energy. The moon didn't explode or crumble. It simply began to fade, becoming transparent as its mass was converted. "Moon conversion at 10%, Engineer Lim reported. His voice was steady, but his hands shook. In space, HFY ships detected the energy surge from the moon. "Admiral," Captain Dongwu called out, monitoring alien communications. "They've noticed something. Multiple alien ships changing course toward Earth." Admiral Taemin looked at Dr. Park. "How long do we need?" 22 minutes for full fold preparation," she said. "We don't have 22 minutes," Captain Dongwu said. "Alien attack ships will be here in 8 minutes. President Lee made the decision that would save or doom humanity. All military units, engage the enemy. Buy us time." Humanity's small fleet launched from hidden bases on Earth and Mars. Their ships were tiny compared to the alien vessels, but they were fast and desperate. Captain Dongwu led the attack in humanity's fastest warship. The space battle began as quantum conversion continued. Human fighters darted between massive alien ships, targeting weapons and engines. They couldn't destroy the big ships, but they could damage them and slow them down. "Moon conversion at 30%, Engineer Lim reported. The moon was now half-transparent like a ghost in the sky. Captain Dongwu's voice came through the communicators as his fighter squadron engaged alien cruisers near Mars. "We're taking heavy losses, but we're slowing them down. Keep working, Doctor." Park was sweating as she coordinated the fold generators. The quantum field was building, but it needed perfect synchronization across the entire solar system. "Field stability at 65%, Dr. Han reported. We need at least 90% for successful fold. Jupiter generator increasing power, Dr. Park said. She pushed the massive planet's quantum engines to their maximum output. On Jupiter, the generators deep in the planet's core began converting the metallic hydrogen itself into quantum energy. The giant planet started to glow with strange light, as its very substance was transformed. Alien ships breaking through our defenses, Captain Dongwu reported. His voice was strained. They'll reach Earth in 3 minutes. Moon conversion at 60%, Engineer Lim said. The moon was now barely visible, more energy than matter. Commander Hyunwoo Nam was monitoring evacuation shelters throughout the system. All civilian population secured, military personnel report to fold stations. This was the moment Engineer Yang had trained for. She was stationed at the primary quantum fold generator, beneath what had appeared to be a tribute processing center. If the aliens destroyed this facility, the entire operation would fail. Alien landing craft approaching the Tokyo facility, someone reported. Engineer Yang looked at her control panel. She could activate the emergency fold from her position, but it would be dangerous. The field might not be stable enough. Field stability at 85%, Dr. Han called out. Not enough. They needed more time. Outside the sound of alien, weapons could be heard. The Kethri had realized they were being deceived. Their landing troops were trying to break into the fake tribute center. Engineer Yang made her choice. She activated the manual override and began the emergency fold sequence. Yang, what are you doing? Dr. Park shouted. Buying us time, Engineer, Yang said. If they get in here, we lose everything. The quantum field around Earth suddenly intensified. Space itself began to bend and twist as the fold generators forced reality to curve. Moon conversion at 90%, Engineer Lim reported. The moon was now just a faint outline filled with swirling energy. The alien ships attacking Earth suddenly found themselves caught in a space-time distortion. Their weapons stopped working properly. Their navigation systems went crazy. They had never encountered anything like this. Field stability at 95%, Dr. Han shouted over the noise of the generators. All generators at maximum power, Dr. Park announced. Beginning final fold sequence. Throughout the solar system, quantum generators hidden in every planet and moon activated simultaneously. Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune began to glow as their cores were converted to energy. The asteroid belt flickered as space-time bent around it. Fold field established, Dr. Park said. Beginning spatial translation. What happened next had never been attempted before. The entire solar system, everything from the sun to the outermost asteroids, began to fold through space-time itself. The stars in Earth's sky went out. For a moment that felt like forever, everything was darkness and silence. Then new stars appeared. Different constellations. A completely alien sky. Fold complete, Dr. Park whispered. The command center erupted in cheers. Humans throughout the solar system looked up at their new sky and cried with relief and joy. But the celebration was brief. The cost of their escape was visible for everyone to see. Where the moon had been, there was nothing. Just empty space. The tides would never be the same. The night sky would never look the same. Jupiter was smaller now, much of its mass converted to quantum energy. Saturn's rings had changed color. Neptune was barely half its original size. Engineer Yang's station was silent. She had stayed behind to manually control the fold generators during the most dangerous part of the escape. The quantum field had consumed her facility and everything in it. Yang, Dr. Park called into her communicator. There was no answer. Admiral Taemin looked at the view screen showing their new location. They were in a completely empty part of space, far from any galactic civilization. Where are we? President Lee asked. Doctor. Park checked her instruments. Approximately 40,000 light-years from our original position, in a region of space that appears to be uninhabited. Captain Dongwu was scanning for any signs of alien activity. No ships detected, no artificial signals. We're alone. Completely alone, Dr. Park confirmed. Meanwhile, back where Earth's solar system used to be, the Kethri fleet floated in empty space. 3,000 alien ships surrounded nothing but vacuum. Ambassador Vexithar stood on his ship's bridge, staring at the empty coordinates where a star system had been just minutes before. "Where did they go?" he asked. Ambassador Naleth checked, his instruments again and again. Unknown. The entire system has simply vanished. For the first time in the Kethrai Empire's long history of conquest, a species had escaped. Not by fighting, not by hiding, not by running away in ships. They had taken their entire world and disappeared. On Earth, in its new location among strange stars, President Lee addressed the human race. "We are free," she said. "We are alone, but we are free. We have given up our familiar sky, but we have kept our souls." She paused and looked up at the alien constellations. "Now we begin again. In a place where no empire can find us. In a place where we can decide our own future." Dr. Park was already working on new projects. Humanity had quantum-fold technology now. They could explore this new region of space. They could find other worlds. They could build something better than what they had left behind. But first, they would remember Engineer Yang and everyone else who had sacrificed to make this impossible. Escape possible. Humanity had folded space itself and escaped from slavery. 25 years had passed since the Great Fold. Admiral Taemin Kim was now an old man with gray hair and wrinkled hands, but his eyes were still sharp as he stood on the bridge of humanity's newest starship. Through the viewport, he could see 3 suns burning in colors that Earth's original sky had never known. "Long-range sensors are detecting something," Captain So-Young Park reported. She was the daughter of Dr. Ha Newell Park, who had died 5 years earlier. The younger Park had inherited her mother's genius for impossible engineering. "What kind of something?" Admiral Taemin asked. "Ships, alien ships, but not Kethrai." Admiral Taemin felt his old heart beat faster. For 25 years, humanity had been alone in this distant part of the galaxy. They had built new colonies on a dozen worlds. They had developed technologies that made their quantum fold seem simple by comparison. But they had always wondered if they would meet other species again. "Put it on the main screen," he ordered. The view screen showed a fleet of strange ships approaching through space. They were damaged and moved slowly like wounded animals fleeing from a predator. Some of them were leaking atmosphere. Others showed signs of weapons damage. "They're broadcasting on multiple frequencies," Communications Officer Jin-Ho Lee reported. "Universal Translator is working on it." "Got it, sir. They're asking for help." Admiral Taemin thought for a moment. The last time humanity had met aliens, it had almost ended in slavery. But these ships looked desperate, not threatening. "Open a channel," he decided. The main screen changed to show an alien face. The being had blue skin and 4 eyes that blinked, in sequence. When it spoke, the translator converted its words to Korean. "Please, we need help. Our name is Zilara. We are refugees from the Kethrai Empire. Our worlds were destroyed when we refused to pay tribute." Admiral Taemin leaned forward in his chair. "You escaped from the Kethrai?" "We tried to fight them," Zilara said. "We thought our weapons were strong enough. We were wrong. Only a few ships survived." "How did you find us?" Admiral Taemin asked. "We followed quantum fold signatures. Your technology, it should be impossible." "How did you escape an entire solar system?" Admiral Taemin smiled grimly. "We'll explain that later. Right now, let's get your people to safety." The rescue operation took 3 days. Humanity's medical ships treated wounded aliens from 6 different species. Engineers repaired damaged spacecraft using technology that amazed the refugees. Food replicators provided meals that could be adapted for different alien biologies. In the main conference room of New Seoul Station, representatives from the refugee species met with human leaders. President Min Jun-han, who had succeeded President Lee, listened as each species told their story. The Veltar had tried to negotiate with the Kethrai and been enslaved anyway. The Brindos had attempted to hide on distant worlds and been hunted down. The Makel had fought a war that lasted 50 years before their final defeat. "Every species in the galaxy has the same choice," said Ambassador Kethara of the Veltar. "Submit to the Empire or be destroyed. No one has ever found a third option." "Humans did," President Han said simply. "Yes, But how? Our scientists have studied your quantum fold technology. It should not be possible to move an entire solar system. Dr. Ji-won Park, daughter of the legendary Dr. Ha-Newell Park, and now humanity's chief scientist, stood up to answer. My mother always said that impossible just means nobody has figured out how to do it yet. The Kethri thought escape was impossible because they never tried to fold space itself. She activated a holographic display showing the current human territory. Dozens of star systems now flew the flag of the Free Solar Alliance. We've been busy in the 25 years since we escaped, Dr. Park continued. We've improved the fold technology. We can now move individual ships across the galaxy instantly. We can fold small asteroids or large space stations. We can even fold weapons. The alien representatives looked confused. Fold weapons? Zil-Ara asked. Captain So-Young Park smiled. We can fold a missile from here to anywhere in the galaxy in seconds. We can fold boarding parties directly onto enemy ships. We can fold bombs into the middle of alien fleets. Admiral Tae-min stood up and walked to the viewport. Outside, human ships patrolled the borders of their territory. These ships were sleek and fast, built with 25 years of advanced technology. For 25 years we've been preparing, he said. Building ships, developing weapons, training soldiers. We always knew we would meet the Kethri again someday. You're planning to fight them? Ambassador Kethara asked. They have millions of ships. They control most of the galaxy. They control most of the galaxy because no one has ever fought back effectively, President Han said. Every species either submits immediately or fights a traditional war they can't win. Dr. Park brought up another display. This one showed tactical projections of fold-based warfare. Traditional space warfare is about controlling territory and supply lines, she explained. Fold warfare is completely different. We can appear anywhere instantly. We can attack from directions that don't exist. We can retreat to places they can't follow. But why would you risk everything to fight them? Zil-Ara asked. You're safe here. They can't find you. Admiral Tae-min turned back to the group. Because safety isn't enough. Freedom isn't just about being left alone. It's about making sure everyone can be free. He walked back to his chair and sat down heavily. The years had made him tired, but they had also made him determined. My species has a saying, evil triumphs when good people do nothing. We've been doing nothing for 25 years while the Kethri enslaved more worlds. That ends today. President Han activated the room's main display. It showed a map of the entire galaxy, with Kethri-controlled territory marked in red. The red covered most of the star systems. We're announcing the formation of the Free Solar Alliance, President Han said. Any species that wants freedom can join us. Any species that fights the Empire can count on our support. What about species that are already enslaved? Ambassador Kethara asked. Captain Park smiled again. We're going to fold liberation fleets directly into their systems. The Kethri won't know we're coming until we're already there. The alien representatives looked at each other with expressions that were hard to read. Hope was a dangerous thing. When you had been hopeless for so long, you really think you can defeat the entire Kethri Empire? Zil-Ara asked. Admiral Tae-min thought about all the humans who had died to make the Great Fold possible. Engineer Yang, who had sacrificed herself to buy them time. Dr. Ha-Newell Park, who had worked herself to death developing the technology. Thousands of others who had given everything for freedom. I think we have to try, he said, because the alternative is letting them win forever. 3 months later, the first liberation fleet folded into the Altair system, where the Kethri had enslaved the Rigelian species 50 years earlier. The human ships appeared without warning, directly above the main Kethri base. The battle lasted 6 hours. When it was over, Altair was free, and the Kethri garrison was destroyed. News of the victory spread through secret channels to enslaved worlds throughout the galaxy. For the first time in centuries, species that had given up hope began to believe that freedom was possible. On Earth, now orbiting a yellow star in the galactic rim, Admiral Tae-min received reports of uprisings on dozens of worlds. The spark of rebellion was spreading. Ambassador Vexthar, now commander of the HFY response fleet, studied the reports from Altair with growing alarm. The humans had returned, and they were fighting with technology that made no sense. How do they appear without warning? He asked his tactical officers. Unknown, Commander. They seem to fold space itself. Vexthar remembered the solar system that had simply vanished 25 years ago. He had thought it was impossible. Now he realized it had been a warning. Find them, he ordered. Find their new homeworld and destroy it. We have been searching, Commander. They seem to be based somewhere beyond the galactic rim. Our scouts cannot locate them. Vexthar stared at the tactical display showing HFY losses. Red marks indicated systems where human liberation fleets had struck. The pattern was spreading like a disease. Then we will make them come to us, he decided. Increase tribute, collection on all worlds. If they want to play Liberator, we will give them more systems to liberate than they can handle. Back on Earth, Admiral Taman smiled as he read the intelligence report. The HFY were reacting exactly as human strategists had predicted. They're trying to spread us too thin, Captain Park reported. Good, Admiral Taman said. That means they're afraid. When your enemy changes strategy because of your actions, you know you're winning. He looked out at the alien stars that had become humanity's new home. 25 years ago, those stars had seemed strange and hostile. Now they felt like old friends. The Great Fold had been humanity's escape from slavery. Now it was becoming the foundation of galactic freedom. Admiral Tamin opened a communication channel to the Free Solar Alliance fleet, commanders scattered throughout the galaxy. All units, this is Admiral Kim. Begin Phase 2 of the Liberation Campaign. Show the galaxy what happens when humans decide to stop retreating. Across the galaxy, quantum fold drives activated. Human ships began appearing in enslaved systems, bringing freedom and hope to species.